Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. This is part 2 of a 4-part series of top 10s. Part 1 was top 10 niche houses, or 10 popular niche houses rather, and my top choice from each of those houses, just one. And today we're going to focus on designer houses. So I've chosen 10 designer houses that I think are pretty popular and selected my top selection from each. My one disclaimer is I didn't look at any of the specialty or private, or if they're called privé or whatever, specialty lines, the sort of luxe lines from some of these houses, because that seemed unfair to me. So these are like from the regular selections. Coming up next, you're going to see 10 houses that deserve a lot more hype, and then my top pick from those. And then part 4 will be 10 popular fragrance notes and my favorite perfume that matches to each of those. So as with the niche video, I have ordered these by the easiest going, maybe most mass appealing, to maybe at the end, the ones that might be the most controversial or difficult to wear. And some of these are discontinued, forgive me, but here is how I thought about it. If I only had to choose one, which one would I miss the most and why? Like, which one is the most easy wearing and or versatile and or interesting or unique? Like, there had to be something about it that just drew me to the fragrance. And so these are my own personal preferences, of course. The first house is Yves Saint Laurent YSL. And there are many beauties in this house. I thought about choosing Black Opium Le Parfum. I thought about choosing Belle d'Opium, which is a discontinued, very sultry, sexy fragrance. I thought about choosing Black Opium Over Red with the cherry note. I thought about choosing Libre Le Parfum. All of those are beautiful and they competed with each other, but there was another one because of the bottle. There's something about the bottle that I really like, and the fragrance is such an easy reach fragrance. This is discontinued. I am so sorry, and it's very difficult to get a hold of, but I really enjoy it when I do wear it. This had a moment in the YouTube sun probably about 4-ish years ago. This is Manifesto. I do like this interesting bottle. It is unique, and this is considered a mostly woody vanilla with some green touches and maybe a little bit of sweetness to it too. I like that this is such a light wearing, almost like a wispy woody vanilla. There's a lot of woody vanillas that are deep and thick and sort of sit heavy on you and maybe get cloying during the day. This is a very light and airy one that is just, I don't know, this is so easy breezy. I find that there is this delicate sort of ribbon of sweetness wafting through this fragrance. It's light wearing. This isn't loud. I guess it depends on who you ask, because when you read some of the reviews, people mention that this is a projecting and long lasting fragrance. I do think it has some longevity to it. It's not super long lasting, but it does sit closer to the skin, in my opinion, and is sort of not quite skin scent-ish, maybe an intimate scent bubble. And it is so easygoing and really, really polite. It is a polite woody vanilla. It's hard to go wrong with this. This I could wear anywhere. And it's like a second skin type of fragrance that almost like accentuates you. It accentuates you. This is what I was hoping Glossier You smelled like in some of those kinds of skin scents. It's almost like it has touches of the current day Fleur vanilla skin, touches of Seven Virtues Amber vanilla, touches of Lys Beau. Like if you took some of the aspects of those 3 fragrances and made this sort of light wearing, skin scenty, softly projecting fragrance, you would come up with something like Manifesto. Love the name of it too, and the bottle. Anyway, so this is my choice from YSL, even though it is discontinued and difficult to get a hold of. I bet you do not think about this next line of fragrances when you think about designer fragrances. Victoria's Secret. Although it is eschewed, is that what the word I'm looking for? It's not eschewed, eschewed. It is ostracized. It is cast aside as a nobody in fragcom. Listen, most ladies, a lot of ladies in the normal world outside of fragcom are very familiar with Victoria's Secret fragrances, and there are a bunch of people that really swear by them and love them. And I happen to be one of those people that enjoys Victoria's Secret fragrances with no shame. No shame. And I want to nominate Victoria's Secret Bear to this list. This, since it came into my collection, has been one of my favorites. I think it made my top 10 last year. This is a fragrance that has mandarin, violet leaves, and then it has sandalwood. Now, the description talks about it having musk as well. If I didn't know any better, I would tell you this had some sort of soft vanilla in the base of it. This is such an easy wearing. This is the Maybelline Easy Breezy CoverGirl fragrance. Boom. It is very sexy second skin. It is very sort of natural feeling. It makes you feel like a happy version of yourself. At least for me, this is so easygoing, easy wearing. Another one that's super duper easy to wear to work, non-offensive. It has this maybe even like a powdery touch to it. And it's bright and it's happy. It's sort of purpley in tone. I love the warmth from the sandalwood, the woodiness from the sandalwood. And then in my mind, this fantasy vanilla that exists in the fragrance that apparently is not in the note structure, but I swear that it is. And so I love the way this wears. It's very friendly to anyone's nose. I can't imagine that this scent would offend anyone. You just smell like a clean version of yourself, okay? And it's not soapy smelling. It's sort of a warm, yet also bright and happy version of yourself. And I adore this. It's almost like the modern day version of Clinique Happy. Remember that? How everyone wore that all the time, every day, and didn't think anything of it. This is like a modern day version of the same feeling that Clinique Happy gave people back in the day. This one is a little bit softer, more modern. The violet leaf keeps it a tiny bit edgy and cool. Okay, that mandarin is bright, and then that sandalwood and whatever musky tones are in here just give it this nice woody warmth in the base. And you cannot go wrong with this. I really haven't met anyone that dislikes this fragrance. Maybe people don't love it and want it. That's okay. But I haven't met anyone that has told me that they dislike the way that this fragrance smells. Love this bottle. The shape is just, I don't know. It's very lovely to hold. It's very lovely to hold. I love the caps on them with the Victoria's Secret stamping and all of that. I just think it's an overall fabulous fragrance. Like this is at least a 9 out of 10 for me. Yeah. Next we go to Prada. I was very tempted to think about one of the Prada Kiss line, like the actual original Kiss fragrance, or this one that is Candy Kiss. You can see the little top of it back there. But there is one fragrance that I absolutely enjoy wearing, and I think I would truly miss if I didn't have it, and that is Prada La Femme. So I don't quite love these bottles the most. It has this sort of Saffiano leather look on the back. And then there's this sort of mirrored effect on the inside that's supposed to reflect back to you all of the various facets of femininity and all of this. I forget the exact story behind the thing on the inside. But anyway, the fragrance, I love that it's named Prada La Femme. It reminds me of The Devil Wears Prada, the movie, and the various feminine energies that were in that film. And then particularly the boss lady, who was, you know, a little bit of a nightmare in the movie. But I do think of this as sort of a boss lady smell in that it's a super sophisticated, very sort of soapy, sweet floral. This has a lot of different floral notes. There's tuberose, there's frangipani, I think. Hold on, let me read you some of these. Ylang-ylang, magnolia, iris even, and there's beeswax and vanilla. The way that this comes across to me, though, despite all of that, is like a very luxurious floral soap that has very, very creamy tones to it. The embodiment of that sort of boss lady vibe. This is such a luxurious, clean smelling, amazing, very, very wealthy smelling soap. I don't like to use that because I feel like what the hell does that mean when people say someone smells wealthy? I mean, have you been around a bunch of wealthy people? They don't smell like anything in particular. Nothing in particular. There's no specific smell. But if there's a stereotype of what someone wealthy looks like, a very sort of kept lady, a lady who lunches, she goes out to brunch every Saturday with her other rich girlfriends, and she's carrying the most expensive Hermes Birkin bag. She's decked out in a beautiful dress and has like $900 worth of makeup on. This is what she's wearing. It's so beautiful, and so easy at the same time. This is not a complex, overwhelming fragrance. It's just soapy, honeyed, creamy sweetness. I love it. I love it. And white florals, all of that all in one. Beautiful. Next, we go to Tom Ford for one of my absolute beloved, in my heart, carry it forever and ever fragrances. And I like a lot from Tom Ford. I was very tempted to put one of the Black Orchids, maybe a flanker of it, in this video. I did not. Maybe even Vanille Fatale, which is a gorgeous fragrance. Maybe even Soleil Blanc. I mean, hello, I love me some Soleil Blanc. But I have to be real with myself and what's in my heart, deep in this beating heart of mine in all four chambers. And look, it is Soleil Neige. It is Soleil Neige. I have raved and raved about this year. You will probably see it in my top 10 for life video coming in December. It's the kind of fragrance that I smell and I want to cry. I want to cry because for me, for whatever reason, I can't tell you why, I can't explain it. This is so ultimately and perfectly beautiful and feminine and delicate and reminds me, probably because of the name, of winter. I immediately picture golden sunshine on snow, soleil neige, sun on snow. When I smell this fragrance, I picture myself fresh and clean and ready for a wonderful workday with lots of hugs from colleagues. This one has gotten complimented at work events. I just can't get enough of this fragrance. There's citrus in the perfume. There's a really soft, very sort of creamy floral touch, a beautiful soft vanilla in the base. There's a super feminine, delicious, almost sweet orange blossom. I just think it is such a beautifully balanced citrus, floral, vanilla combination. And it's not citrus like Devotion. It's not citrus like Lyra. It's not citrus like Bake. None of that. It's its own special, very sunny citrus. It smells like what sun rays through trees would smell like if you could give them a smell. Happy, enlightening, illuminating, uplifting. I just adore this fragrance in so many ways. Now, it isn't the super longest lasting. You're going to get maybe 4 to 6-ish hours and you need to re-up. But this is glorious to me. Period. End of story. No one can tell me differently. No one. Next is Gucci. I've tried a lot of Gucci fragrances. The vast majority of them have been very likable, very wearable. I can't think of one that I just didn't like. I disliked for whatever reason. And there are so many beauties in the Gucci lineup to appreciate. So many. But this one captured my heart the minute that I brought it into my collection. I tried it in store and didn't think much of it. I passed on it. In fact, probably 3 or 4 different times. And then I heard my buddy, Tammy Roxanne, check out her channel if you haven't. You will absolutely enjoy her sweet, beautiful nature. She's such a doll and such a friendly human. And she mentioned Gucci Bamboo. This is the eau de parfum. There is an EDT, an eau de toilette version too, the eau de parfum. And the way she described it, I knew I had to give it another chance. I ordered it. I think it was off of Joma's shop for stupid cheap. I mean, you can get this for, I think, under $50 at this point, maybe $30-something for this smaller bottle. The notes here that stand out to me, there's a lily note, orange blossom, sandalwood, vanilla, and amber. And the net effect of that is this super clean, easygoing, very comforting, almost nearly cocooning. It's late, y'all, and I need to go to sleep. This kind of like cocooning, soapy, shampooy, creamy scent. If you've ever had a luxury shampoo and conditioner experience where it smells slightly floral, sort of clean, but it has this really sort of creamy texture to it, this reminds me somewhat of luxurious shampoos. Not pert, okay? We ain't talking about Pantene. I like Pantene too. We ain't talking about herbal essences. We ain't talking about Aussie. What is that Aussie brand called? I forget. This is so fresh and uplifting, yet it has this creamy warmth to it that is just undeniable, feminine, and an easy reach. We used to call these dumb reaches in Fragcom. Easy reach. Like, this is a fragrance that is not going to disappoint in terms of making you feel feminine and clean, classy. Very classy fragrance this is. And it has a little bit of luxe from the creamy factor in here. So good, so good. Again, that is Bamboo, and it's the eau de parfum version. The eau de toilette I have tried as well, and I like that, but I remember feeling when I tried both of those in Ulta and whatever that I never wanted to pick them up until Tammy talked about it. And now I'm like, how did I spend so many years without that fragrance in my collection? Let's go to Valentino with their beautiful bottles. I am so sorry. You're probably sick of hearing about the next fragrance, and I'm going to talk about it again in an upcoming video where I talk about the best releases of the year. This is one of my favorites, and it captured me. I was going to pass on it because I was like, what is that? What is that bottle color? What is that bottle name? What the hell is Valentino doing? What? So this is Green Stravaganza. Donna, born in Roma, Green Stravaganza. What a crazy name. It reminds me of like Liberace or one of these like overly done up public figures they're always doing the most. The name on this is doing the damn most. But friends, this fragrance is captivating to me. Its main notes are, I think it's some kind of black type of tea, and there's jasmine and vanilla. So what I have to say is this opens like the embodiment of happiness. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Do you remember that phrase from, what was it, the 90s? This is happy, happy, joy, joy in a fragrance when it opens. It is so bright and uplifting and vibrant and juicy. Juicy and almost like green. Hold on a minute. Let's spray. Let us spray and bow our heads. Oh my God. You get the vanilla right away in this fragrance, by the way. It's like dominant throughout. And that top part, it's almost like a Jolly Rancher type of sweet tartness, but not quite. Like a hint of that. My God, this just does something to me in the opening. It makes me stand up a little straighter, a little taller, and be happy that I'm alive. And it's got that beautiful jasmine and vanilla as it starts to dry down. And then it becomes more vanilla-ish deep into the dry down. But that opening in the mid, particularly the opening, are so captivating in terms of like a feeling that it gives you. This happy, happy, joy, joy feeling. This like, I am on top of the world. Nothing can go wrong. I smell good. I look good. I feel good. I'm going to do good. You know what I'm saying? That type of fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. I went through a travel spray of this and then purchased this smaller one. And I think right now, this is a fragrance that I wouldn't hesitate to repurchase when I finish it up. So, which will probably be, you know, somewhere in 20,053 at the rate that I'm going with all these fragrances. But I'm trying. Next, we go to Armani. And if we were choosing from the Privé lines and everything, I would choose Musk Chamal. Ooh. You will hear about that again in my favorite buys of the year. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna call it like the favorite blind buys, because I don't know that all of the fragrances are blind buys, since I have been taking the time this year more than ever to actually test fragrances. Mostly, not all. I'm still kind of a crazy blind buyer, but test a lot of them. So anyway, this is a discontinued fragrance. I was going to choose Armani Code. I don't have it anymore because the bottle that I purchased crashed. It crashed in my bathroom on my tile floor and broke every corner of my heart. Oh my God, what a beautiful fragrance that was. So I'm going to go with Armani Code Cashmere, which is also discontinued. I do happen to have, I think I still have, the backup of this. I have a backup bottle. That's how good this is. This is one of the sexiest, most cozy and casual, yet sensual, feminine date night. Come hug up with me. Come do some Netflix and chill on the couch with me. Okay, beautiful, very, very sexy, alluring, feminine fragrance. It's characterized by this super duper creamy, luxurious almond texture, almond accord. It says almond milk, but it's like thicker than an almond milk for me. Accompanied by this really beautiful, subtle, very feminine iris. There's this sort of buttery and powdery kind of heliotrope sort of deal happening in the fragrance. The base has suede, it has leather, it has incense, but I can't say that there's much of that sort of shines through to me. It's a little bit suede-y in the base, but the primary features here, friends, are a very creamy, very sensual, huggable. Oh, this is like a feminine hug in a bottle. Creamy, thick almond with some iris woven in. A little bit of that heliotrope and a little bit of suede. There are some floral aspects, I think, it's orange blossom and jasmine sambac that are in the fragrance. So, I mean, for me, those just come across as like, almost like a honeyed, little slightly bit leaning in the sweet orange direction, like ever so slightly, floral, beautiful amazingness that just kind of adds even more feminine tones and touches to this beautiful fragrance. I think this is so good. My husband loves when I wear this. I would say that it's like a date night fragrance because it's moderately lasting. It can project a lot at first. So anyway, if you can get your hands on Armani Code Cashmere, it's one of the best from the Armani line, like ever. Lancome. You know I have an obsession with the Maison Lancome line. We're not going to talk about those because that is the specialty line. So I want to talk about one of the regular schmegular Lancome fragrances. This is a very special little fragrance. It looks like I haven't used a lot, and that's because I haven't used a lot. I've worn this a few times. You have to kind of be in the mood for it, but it is a beautiful fragrance and one of the most unique in some ways, and yet sort of pedestrian and ordinary at the same time. This is LVEB INTENSEMENT or Intensement. I mean, if you want to try to act like you have a French accent, which I do not. I am trying to do like Duolingo French. I'm trying to learn. So the first few lessons, they teach you about homme and femme and chat. Is that chant? Chat? What's a cat? A chant? Un chant? Un chat? Un fille, which is a young girl. Garçon, which is a male. Oh, excuse me, a boy. And mange. Is that right? See, I'm failing already. I passed everyone. I get 100% every time. I'm really good at it. Cheval is a horse. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I'm learning it because my son has to take French 2 next year, and I want to be able to chat with him a little bit. Back to the fragrance. I do like these LVEB bottles. I wish they had a little bit more sophisticated top. These square acrylic tops are kind of shite in my opinion. In my opinion. But the fragrance is mostly raspberry and iris and this beautiful, luxurious, really delicate vanilla that's in this fragrance. So this is mostly a combination of a perfumey raspberry, this really feminine, lovely, delicate iris note, heliotrope, which lends this sort of like creamy powderiness, and a very delicate sandalwood in the base of this. I think this is the epitome of femininity in a fragrance when you want to smell very pretty and huggable and not offensive. I don't think that this is like super matronly. I don't think it's super mature. It's kind of like maybe touching up against the ceiling of that, but not in that space quite yet. It's got this delicious sweetness to it that has come out more and more. When I first purchased this, I feel like it was a little bit more like on the bready side. And as it has sat more, that raspberry, delicious sweetness accompanied with the sort of cool aloofness of iris play so beautifully in this fragrance together. This is lovely. Great date night, great like mother of the bride, great attending a baby shower, attending a girl's bruncheon, where you just want to show up and be your beautiful, girly, feminine self, but have like a side dash of strong maturity. LVEB INTENSEMENT is absolutely to die for. We're going next to Viktor and Rolf. I believe Viktor and Rolf is a designer brand. Don't they have a clothing line? I don't know, because I don't wear that stuff. Ay. We're going to leave it in here, even if it's not. Forgive me if it isn't, but I think that it is a designer brand. Viktor and Rolf. They make something else, don't they? Handbags, shoes, coats, something. Anyway, if you are a FLOWERBOMB fan, and no, I'm not going to say FLOWERBOMB, but you wanted something deeper, sultrier, sexier, this FLOWERBOMB nectar is the bee's knees. No pun intended on that. Oh my God. It is like addictive. And there's something really sort of mysterious in this fragrance. While it is a wearable, very sort of sexy, alluring, common smelling fragrance in some ways, there's something ever so slightly dark and mysterious. I mean, some people pick up like a smoky accord. I can't say that to me this feels particularly smoky or incensey or anything pushing in any of those directions. But there is something a little bit dark. So for me, this has some of the floral background of FLOWERBOMB. And everyone has smelled, or a lot of y'all have smelled FLOWERBOMB, so you know what I'm talking about. It's this sort of like melange, this amalgam of a lot of different sort of floral notes together in the fragrance. It doesn't smell clean bouquet. It smells like perfume florals. So it's not like this fresh bouquet type of smell. It smells like a lot of florals intentionally put together in a perfume. And there's a gunpowder note, and perhaps that's where people feel like they get the smokiness from. It adds this sort of mysterious, I don't know, maybe even like a metallic type of tone to this that is hard to describe. And then there's vanilla and patchouli in the base. And I love the way all of that plays together in this fragrance. This is sex appeal in a bottle. This is like, I own my feminine wiles. I'm going to use them. You're going to fall in love with me tonight. you're going to put a ring on it tonight. So this is absolutely beautiful. I love the little container that it comes in, the shape and all of that. It's like a genie in a bottle type of deal. Fairly long lasting fragrance, and it does project out into the room. And it is hug worthy in a sensual way. So what had happened was I was editing the back end of the video, and then it just abruptly stopped. So apparently whatever I filmed for the end of this video is gone. It's in the trash somewhere, electronic digital trash world out there in cyberspace. I didn't save it, apparently. I don't know what happened there. So I'm back just casual with my glasses on to share with you the final fragrance that I did talk about in the video that I originally filmed. You know, it's interesting trying to decide which houses to include in a video like this and which to exclude. I guess you could look up highest volume of sales, value of sales, and go with that. There are some houses I didn't include that I would have liked to. Carolina Herrera would be one, Narciso Rodriguez, another, Marc Jacobs, another, Givenchy, another. There are a bunch. But the one that I went with as the 10th place is Dior. And there are many beautiful fragrances throughout the years made by Dior. There is a sort of classic that I cannot deny deserves the spot of the one that I would miss the most, regret not bringing with me if I could only grab one from 10 houses. And that is Dior. Dior Eau de Parfum. I don't know if I have the older or the newer formulation. I have had the older formulation before. This bottle I've had, gosh, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or so. It's the one fragrance where someone has actually told me that I smell wealthy when I'm wearing it. I never get that comment about anything else. This is a fragrance that performs best. It shines and blooms the most and is the most impressive, if you will, in the coldest of weather. It's a very heavy fragrance, one that can be very cloying if worn in the wrong kind of weather or the wrong kind of setting. Beautiful date night and special occasion fragrance, very much a strong presence in the room. It is a vanilla base, and then it has a beautiful jasmine sambac note. And I think there is also, I'm trying to remember what the other floral is. I think orange blossom is the other floral. And I believe there's like a tinge of greenness and a little bit of mandarin in the fragrance, but mostly it's sort of this heavy vanilla. This to me is a deeper, darker version of, I shouldn't say it's a version of, excuse me. It could be like a cousin to Tom Ford's Vanille Fatale. It's that kind of deep, like super sexy, heavy, thick vanilla with florals in it and so forth. Vanille Fatale is more sort of spices and comforting notes rather than florals, but it gives the sort of same effect if you think about the sexy factor in both of these. This one is more floral. Like I said, it has that real slight touch of something ever so gently citrus at the very opening, but as it dries down, it's almost like a heavily cloying vanilla. I don't know if there's tonka bean in the fragrance. I don't think there is, at least not in the note structures that I've seen, but if I didn't know what the note structure was, I would say it has this sort of heavy, almost almondy, powdery, tonka bean-ish kind of deal happening, particularly as it dries down in the base. It's heavy. It's very, very sexy, very grown up, very special occasion or date night. Not one that most people would wear casually, I would say. Of course, I wear fragrances however I please, in whatever season and for whatever reason, except I try to stay away from obnoxious, loud fragrances if I'm going to be in crowded spaces. Outside of that, I wear just about whatever I please. But this one, I always feel beautiful. I always feel elegant. I always feel very mature and grown in this fragrance. Dior Addict Eau de Parfum. Love it. There are many, many beauties from Dior, so this was a really, really difficult decision. Oh, I didn't talk about the House of Guerlain. You know, there are just so many other designer houses to feature in a video like this, but you have to narrow it down to 10. So I'm going to round out this video and say thank you for watching and bearing with this sort of change at the end. I look a little Where's Waldo-ish in this top. It's not a pajama, but it kind of sort of looks like that. It's like one of those kind of Abercrombie types of hang around the house tops. I don't know. I know you don't care. Thanks for hanging out with me. What are your thoughts on the 10 designer brands that I selected? And what are your favorites from these brands as well? Coming up next is going to be 10 houses that deserve more hype, 10 brands that I wish got more attention on YouTube. And then following that is going to be the 10 popular notes and a fragrance that I would match with each of those that would be my top choice. All right, take care. I hope you all are doing well. And if you're watching this on the Sunday before Thanksgiving and you celebrate Thanksgiving or some form of it, may you have a very blessed day with family or friends, or some quiet solitude if you decide to spend the day alone. Big hugs to everyone out there. See you in the next video. Take care.